Good evening, everybody. It is 9:03 p.m. U.S. Central Standard Time on Thursday, March 14th. And my friends, you are watching the RantCast, or listening to the RantCast. I am your host, Joshua, also joined by our other host here, Kurgan, aka HeroQuest Fans. And you can find him at twitch.tv/HeroQuestFans. That is twitch.tv/HeroQuestFans. Kurgan, you're on whenever you want to hop in and give us that good old-fashioned rantcast.
RantCast.
There we go.
Yeah, you might be listening to the RantCast, you might be watching it, but we're living it. We're living it right now, live. Unless you're watching the replay, in which case we've already lived it. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing pretty good. Just one quick thing here before we start. This audio you're listening to here is brought to you by Cybersound Music. All audio rights go to Aim to Head. You can find them on YouTube at Cybersound Music. I am doing wonderful. Doing absolutely wonderful. A lot better than I was the last couple days. I actually had the flu, so I feel like every time I come back from a podcast, I am sick. It's always a thing. It's like a ritual. It's like I have to be sick,
but
and then
but see, and I'm not going to call anybody out, Ribby, but when I say, oh, there's no RantCast this week, it's like, no, no. It's like, and then it's like, oh yeah, guys, I was at death's door. It's like, oh shoot, that's why there wasn't a show. So
yeah.
I'm glad you're on the mend. That sucks.
Oh,
So some
well,
stuff's
yeah.
going around.
Yeah, it was really bad because a real
Flu
funny
season,
story.
huh?
Yeah, well, yeah, funny story because my kids go to daycare. I've got four kids. My two kids go to elementary school, but I have a 4-year-old that goes to daycare, and it's a daycare where literally you walk in and you just tell disease is spread. It's rampant, and and I have a baby that goes to daycare as well. Same place. But we got a call saying that influenza A was kind of running around and to be careful. And we're like, okay, sure. I went to go have a couple cigars with my uncle, and I think this was Monday. And I came home, and my wife was like, "Oh, good, you're home." She said, "The kids are sick," and I said, "Oh," I said, "That can't be too bad. I mean, we'll take care of them." She goes, "No, go inside, say hello to Gabby." And I was like, "Okay." Um, I walk in, and both my kids are laying in bed, and they have like buckets, like like those little tubs. I was like, "Oh, we're that sick. We're sick to the point where we can't make it to the bathroom sick." I was like, "All right, is your stomach hurting?" I told my oldest, "Is your stomach hurting?" And she looked at me, and my youngest just throws up straight. I'm sorry if anybody's eating right now, but she just throws up, like projectile throws up into there, and then my oldest catches sympathy vomit and just does the same, and I back up. I'm like, "Nope, I'm out. I gotta I gotta put the mask on, gotta get the gloves on because I got a job tomorrow. I gotta be out of town, and I can't be catching this like when I'm on the road because I travel." So turns out I ended up catching it at 3 a.m. and it was a horrifying experience. So um, I had to call in from work. So
Yeah.
that was
I
my overtime was lost
I
because
hear I hear what you're saying. Oh man. Yeah, I canceled a family visit on account of I've got some people sick as well. So
but yeah, I
yeah,
hope.
well, we wish you all speedy recovery.
Yeah, I mean everybody else is we're doing fine. It only lasts a couple days, so like I said, just a little sensitive stomach right now. But besides that, I'm back up and running. It was just a really bad 13 to 15 hours, and I guess once that's over, it's over. So nobody else is sick in the house. The kids were up faster than I was. So, but hey, besides me, how is Kurgan doing? How are you doing today? How has your week been?
So how am I doing? I'm doing great. I'm not sick yet. um, I need to stop buying board games. I've got a problem. Admit it.
Oh yeah,
It's
I've
true. Uh, and I'm about to have an even bigger problem. But we'll get to that in all in due time because there've been some developments. Are we ready to get into that yet?
Oh, yeah, we can get into the Ribby, you spoiled the surprise. How dare you?
I banned his ass. I had a fever. The only prescription was more banning.
And so he told me that he had a fever. And so I took this
The,
watch and I stuck it up his ass.
his father's watch was valuable to him.
It's in the title, bro. Oh yeah, true.
He took he took the RantCast. Oh man, yeah, Dune Part Two. Has anybody seen that?
Oh, I'm still waiting, by the way. I wanted to
Man,
avoid grabbing my popcorn bucket, so
well, you got to just put your hand in there and just really just get a big glob of anyway. Yep, the
did you
popcorn bucket
grab
me. No,
the
I
popcorn
did not
bucket?
get the I
The
did not get the popcorn bucket.
$25 the $25 innuendo bucket?
Yeah, they didn't have that. Instead, they had this they had a trash can with like a bunch of um bamboo skewers in it and some
Oh
sand at the
man.
bottom. Like, what the heck is this? And it's like, oh, it's
Okay.
the sandworm
For anybody who
without
doesn't
special
know,
effects.
I think I showed this already, but I'm going to do it again. So, the Dune
Hey, Joe,
popcorn
go.
bucket has
Yeah,
been a big
film
thing.
threat. Yeah, SNL did it. Film threat did it. Yeah, people have been just mocking it. And didn't they interview the actors from the movie and just like, hey, can you put your hand in this? And they're like, hell no.
Yeah,
Or
no,
whatever.
it was very bad. Whoever did this. So, if you look up at the screen, this is the special
It looks cool,
promotional
but
Dune popcorn bucket, right? It's supposed to
it
take a place of the
also,
worm or the sandworm or whatever, but
yeah,
um
just stick your hand down its throat to get your popcorn and get tickled
yeah,
by all those magical fingers as it
you
goes.
got yourself a little nice innuendo there. Especially if you put your
Yeah.
butter in there and get it all nice and lubed up.
Ugh.
Uh,
Oh no. See, man, yeah.
there was a guy who showcased this bucket because I remember watching this and like tried to put his hand in there and like it's so small that he's like he got like maybe two kernels out there. He's like for people who want to starve themselves during the theater and they don't like to grab gobs of
Ooh,
popcorn,
chopstick.
this is a great bucket to have. He goes, I think I got halfway down the bucket before the movie was gone and I just threw it in my car and no kernels fell out. Yeah, you turn the thing
Oh,
upside
great.
down.
See, look at the bright side.
So yeah, that was
Yeah.
the I will never trust anyone who brings that thing into a dark theater with me. Yo, bro, I wouldn't be worried about it attacking you. I'd be worrying about the sounds it'd be making next to you. Guy's too tempted with all that butter in there, you know?
It's just too bad. Too bad. Yeah, we just can't have
That's
nice
what I'm
things
saying.
anymore.
He's adding some extra spice to
Oh
his
no.
popcorn.
Yeah. So I won't spoil anything, but Dune Part Two, Walken is in it, of course, as the Emperor,
Oh,
and
yeah.
he's trying so hard not to be Walken and not to say anything meme worthy.
But does he
But
do a good job? Because
we
he's old. He's getting up there now. He's like really up there now. He's got to be like his 80s
he's
or
an old
90s. Right?
he should have just gone with it. Like, I'm the Emperor of the whole universe. The
He
spice. We need more of it.
Yeah, well, I think how he tries to get rid of the walk-in in it is he speaks low. He tries to go like this. Like he tries to like eliminate his accent
Yeah.
by speaking really low or
Somebody
whispering. Uh
somebody's gonna do a fan edit, speed up his voice. Just have him talk. Like
yeah.
everyone expects him to talk.
I I know this is probably a really bad
Paul
take,
Atreides.
but I still loved him in Balls of Fury. Probably
Duke
not
Leto's son.
not not his best work, not by far, but it was just somewhere out of left field where he
The
so
Kwisatz Haderach. What the hell
yeah.
is that? Get out of here with that nonsense.
Sarlacc and HeroQuest have 10 body points.
Yep. Yeah, I would
But
think it would just be like a tile that you would land on, and then it would just take you into another maze, like you're inside its belly. It's like the Super Nintendo
and you have 10 turns
game.
to get out or you're digested.
Like it's like super. It's instead of Super Star Wars, it's like Super Hero Quest.
Yeah.
It's
Those
the
games were
emphasis
fun.
on foo. of fighters.
If
I
you
don't
guys like
know.
putting your balls in a vice grip, play Super Star Wars.
Super Star Wars. That game sucked.
No, it didn't. It's just really hard.
It was good, but I had to play it for 30 years while I had to watch in my
On my
ass.
ass. Yeah.
I had a controller. I had a Super Nintendo controller in my ass for three
So
years.
yeah, for Dune, I have yet to see part two, but I did like the first part. I still
Yeah,
prefer the original, but like the remaster isn't as
yeah.
bad. It's not like it didn't need to happen. I liked it. I think that the people who were in it were good. Um,
It's a different adaptation, and it
yeah,
plays some tribute. It plays a little bit of tribute to the previous adaptations as well, which I appreciated.
bring back David Lynch. Yes, that would be so beautiful if you could
Yes,
bring
David
back.
Lynch. But every time they ask him, he's like, "Nope, nope, I'm not gonna do it. Not gonna do it." It's like, does this change your mind? Give him the suitcase full of cash.
It would be so beautiful if you could bring me back.
All I can see is an Atreides I want to kill. You gotta milk this little cat every day to get the antidote. I will kill him. So many
It would
great
be
lines.
it would be so beautiful. Where is
Yeah.
that?
So, but I will say, Dune Part Two sets it up for a sequel. So I wonder if they'll just call it Dune Part Three instead of Dune Messiah, because the third book or the second book was actually really really short.
Maybe. I'm going
So like
to
the
assume
Sci-Fi
maybe.
Channel, they combined the second and third book into a single series and called it Children of Dune, and I did not think it was very good. But that's because they just didn't have the budget really to do it justice.
Okay, so real
Some
quick
of the
before
acting was a little questionable.
we continue,
Get
because
on.
now you reminded me of this one.
Crawl on the floor and cry like a little baby. Can you do that, Alden? Can you cry out like a little baby? Crawl over there and crawl around and cry like a baby. See, real loud. Can you do it? Can you do it? Crawl and cry like a baby. Make some crying noise, some sad, loud crying noises. Don't be happy. Don't be happy. Roll around and be upset. Roll around and be upset. There you go.
Every time I hear David Lynch, that's what I think of. That's it. That's all I can think of.
Beautiful.
Is
That's how you
is
get kids to act.
it would be so beautiful if you could roll around and cry like a baby.
Man, yep. Sometimes you got to do that.
But yes, okay. Moving on from Dune and stuff. Although
I'm
I will
holding
I
back so
will
much stuff. Yeah.
well hopefully I'll be able to get to see it. Maybe I'll check it out here in the next couple of days. But I was
Yeah.
waiting maybe so that our whole family could see it because I can't go see it in the theater, not with my kids. They would not sit and watch that. Um, but you've got some stuff for the HeroQuest Power Hour, don't you?
I do. Yes.
Okay, and if I'm right,
Um.
if I bring stuff up here, this is
Yeah.
the.
We
See if I can
yeah.
widen this out a little
Hero
bit.
Escape, not Hero Quest,
Okay,
because we
yeah.
pretty much have caught up on Hero Quest. I mean, they updated the app, they fixed a lot of those bugs that were annoying people. So kudos to them. And right now we're having an argument. Well, not really an argument, but Sik Hashem, to his credit, is trying to take the optimistic position. And I hear him. It's saying like, okay, well, it says that they're only going to support the HeroQuest companion app until June 14th, 2025. But we've also been told they're going to support HeroQuest at least through 2026. So what kind of sense does that make? So he's thinking, oh, well, logically they would just probably do an extension of it because
Oops.
it makes sense for them to do that. And I'm like, well, but they haven't said it, so we need to complain about it to make sure they do it. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people like to look on the bright side. I like to look on the negative side because my take on the whole HeroQuest thing from the beginning has been the Avalon Hill guys seem to know what the community wants and they do their best to fulfill it. It's the question is, are they able to get it done, or is Hasbro gonna like, come down on them from the top and say, oh, let's do this stupid thing instead, instead of the thing that, so will they prevail? I think we still have to have our say in public so that they can point to it and say, see, this is what the customers actually want, just like we were saying, So it's not about like, okay, I don't want to hear negativity. It's like we need to hear a little bit of negativity, not the sky is falling and nothing's going to work out. It's hopeless, but hey, they really need to do this, otherwise, it's not going to be as good. Because I get the fact that the companion app can't be customized. I mean, it's just you just play the quests and it's always the same. But it's meant for people who don't have other people to play with or who don't want to play as Zargon. So you could say, okay, it's limited value, but it's still, something they put a lot of work into. It still has, a use. So that's all I'll say about that. But yeah, Heroscape. Many of us remember this. We had a couple of rantcasts. We talked about this. This was the HasLab campaign that failed. And the thing was, lots of people covered this, the reasons why we thought it failed. They tried to do too much. You're going to have to pay $250 for an unpainted set that has like, I think 5 armies in it. So it's like everything. And unlike the HeroQuest campaign, not as much time has gone by since people had Heroscape. So a lot of people still have their sets already. So it's like, why would they invest in what's essentially a second master set of all this stuff? And plus, it's like, oh, I got to paint all this. So there's a lot of complaints, and I'm sure they took it to heart because now, moving on from this to what recently was announced. So Renegade Studios was, I guess, licensed or tasked with making the remake of, and they're still calling it Age of Annihilation. So GenCon last year, all they had to give out were pins. They didn't have any information. But now they've shown us, and they did some videos a while back, but there's a master set painted for $225, or you can get it
Holy shit.
unpainted for $125.
So hold on. If you get this unpainted, it's 125. But if you want the painted version, you want them to paint that for you, it's an extra
Yep,
$100.
$100. Now, what they're saying is, oh, but this is not like your like I don't mean to put you on the spot, but you were showing like your Star Wars D&D figures, and you're like, yeah, these were kind of shitty, back in the day. Like they just splashed the paint on, the different. Like it wasn't like super
Well,
high
no.
quality.
So your stuff is a little more scaled up. Like you saw mine, they were tiny, right? And they did use cheap
Yeah.
paints because they didn't last very long. And like I got the that mold crap off of them, but so
Oh, good.
they lasted. It's just some of the like I guess certain
Paint jobs
characters were
were
made with
sloppy.
yeah they were really sloppy, but like you used them for it was their like battle figures. It wasn't anything like huge, but they're bigger. They're bigger machines. I guess were better painted. I don't have like the really big ones. I only
Yeah.
had a couple, but yeah, like to answer your question, yes, that's pretty
I
much
mean,
it.
I grew up in the late 70s, early 80s. So like my idea of like what painted toys were supposed to look like were like the dollar store, like dinosaurs and like, Godzilla vinyls,
Yeah,
splash of paint on the eyes, one pass with the airbrush, done pretty much, you paint the teeth. And so this sort of like style of painting that people have become used to because of Games Workshop, they always show the heavy metal, this is how you paint it, and you have, the 6 layers or whatever and all this stuff and the washes and the speed paints and the contrast paints and the metallics and all this other stuff. So it's like that standard has kind of like ruined a lot of people. Like that's what they want it to be. So
well,
I
not
don't know
just
how
that, but
close it
like
is to that style, but this is supposedly not just a basic paint job. Like it's supposed to be high quality. Like they use washes and stuff. So I'm sure a lot of people in our Discord could do better, but for $100, that's what you're getting.
I feel
I
like
mean, there's people that say, "Oh yeah, how much should I charge to paint?" Because a lot of people don't want to paint, so that's like, "Well, I'll pay you to paint it for me." You know?
well, yeah, and I feel like a lot of people you can still paint a really good piece with like not
Yeah.
cheaper paint, but like you don't need to use
Oh, you
like
totally can.
fancy ass car paints for And like I
Yeah.
said, for bigger figures, for your personal touch, if you want to do that, great. I encourage that. But like for people like me who I don't have the time anymore to sit at my desk and spend 45
Yeah.
minutes to an hour to paint one figurine. I can't do it. My friend, I have a friend at home, or sorry, a couple blocks from me, who does that. And
He's
like
chaining
literally
to my
he's,
desk.
yeah, he's well
Yeah.
he's got the desk, he's got the magnifying glass, he's got the paint sets and everything.
Good
But
stuff. Yeah.
I feel
I'd rather
like,
I'd rather pay somebody to teach me how to paint, and then I would do it as
well,
opposed
yeah,
to.
and you can tell now, like if you can go on Amazon, if you're ordering like I'm trying to order toys for my kids, and a lot of the toys now are like you could buy this nicely painted action figure, and it's meant for adults for like $65 a person or a figure. I'm like, what? And then you buy like these cheaply painted imported figures, like, and I'm like, but they're gonna smell like car paint or like or a shoe polish or something like that. And I'm like, why
Yeah.
can't I just have one that's painted, just regularly painted, and it does not have
Right.
to be shipped all the way like from like a cut like 3-4 countries away. Like I just would like, there's no middle ground here. It's either you pay for somebody who puts the craftsmanship in, or you pay for somebody who is literally just phoning in the work.
Yeah, so
Like,
so maybe they need to add some gradations. So like for 150, you get the like even slightly better paint job. But one thing
what,
I thought, I don't know how standardized it is. So this is making me think, well, each box you get, the figures are going to look different. So it's like a collector's dream. Everything is always, painted by this guy, painted by this other guy, Or maybe they have a paint by number thing in the factory where it's like, okay, green here, blue here, blend here.
yeah,
They also said that the unpainted set actually does have basic washes on the figures. So actually it is slightly painted, but I'm like, basic wash. So are they just gray with like maybe like green or blue splashed on? Like I'm not quite sure what that looks like. Because if anybody's been to like a friendly local game shop in the last decade or so, WizKids sells these Dungeons and Dragons and like Pathfinder type figures that are pre-primed. So they're just gray, but it's like, oh, they have primer on them already, so that you can just put your paint over the top. Although in our Discord, I'm forgetting which member it was, but he was saying like, man, this primer sucks, and so like he was trying to remove it, and it was like really hard to remove, and he was going through all this stuff, and it was just like, man, they should have just not even bothered. So I don't know, like if you buy the unpainted set with the idea that you're going to paint it yourself, how easy or how hard is it going to be? I don't know. But I
yeah, because
mean,
like
for
trying to
me,
paint those
I
small
just
tiny figures is gonna be hard. But like, I
yeah,
don't know how big
I
these figures are.
I found out kind of late in the game that if you're using I mean, they're using the same type of like bendy plastic, kind of soft plastic that the HeroQuest remake uses. So if you just want to spray paint it, like forget getting an expensive airbrush or getting that army painter. Like like which would you rather do? Would you rather spend $15 on a can of paint, or would you spend $6? Like I'll spend $6. And I know people will say, well, but the pigment is slightly smaller, and it's made specifically for miniatures, so you should use this and you should support stores. And I'm just like, listen, I'll go to Walmart, I'll get some Krylon paint plus primer, spray it on. Yeah, it's got a cure for a couple days, but it looks great. It's a nice clear coat, and if I just want it to be one color, it's done. And then if I want to paint on top of it, I can use the cheap acrylics that I got at
Or
Walmart or
whatever,
wherever.
like whatever store that you want to support. But the
Yeah.
big thing is that like you don't always. I feel like in this part, like depending on the board game that you're that's like your favorite or whatever you want to go for. I feel like I've seen some really good like paint sets come from people who are
Yeah.
using just a regular paint and primer mix. Like
Yeah. Oh,
they're not
well,
doing
yeah.
like
If
they're not like they don't need like this shade here, this shade there. And like I said, I'm not saying that's bad, because like I said, there's some really talented artists out there who've like made
good enough for the table.
who's taken
Yeah.
like a regular basic Republic Commando figurine and like painted it down with expensive paints, added a base, put some grass in there, done some really cool shit. Um, But if
Yeah.
you just want your games painted, man, I mean,
Yeah. If you just want to get it done and it doesn't look like crap, it can be done very inexpensively.
I'm not driving on them or anything like that. They're gonna be
Yeah.
inside the house, and you know,
Well, and the thing is, if you get, I mean, they do this all the time online. If you go, like, there's a lot of painting channels I look at on YouTube, and like a lot of those people, um, they're so talented. You could give them like the worst brush, you could give them the worst paint, and they would be able to just like, do a great job still. So, and the opposite is true. If you're like a terrible painter, like having just really good quality, like expensive stuff, you're probably wasting your money, on that. So yeah, and yeah, I know. There's also people that say, well, yeah, I'll use the cheap paint on like terrain and stuff. So there's a lot of uses for it. But yeah, so anyway, the point is they listened to what people were asking for. People wanted a painted version, but they also give you the option of a quote
because
unquote unpainted.
this looks good. Like for a paint, like that's better than anything I've ever gone into. Like I said, I've owned a couple board games of mine. Like even the X-wing games that I don't think even look this good. Like
Yeah.
stuff like
Now, to be
this, like
fair, these are samples, so who's to say that, it's really going to
you
look
get the
this good?
same
But
thing.
let's just assume.
I hope they
Let's
do for
just
$225.
Yeah, it better be. And there's less. I think there's less in the box than the HasLab version, the $250 version. But I added
Boy.
up the prices. If you take the unpainted ones, all the unpainted ones that they're selling, the unique boxes, and add them together, it comes to 220 plus shipping and handling and tax. So it's actually cheaper. But you still got to buy like 4 boxes to get the same. Well, and it's not exactly the same because a lot of the miniatures are not part of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say like these look really good for the scale they're at, and
Hmm.
not shown at actual size images for illustrated purposes. Actual product may vary.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was saying. Like every box is going to have like a different paint job.
Boy.
Yeah. So anyway, but the good thing is, if you wanted HeroScape to come back, it's still coming back, and it's September 1st is the release date. So I mean, thinking GenCon is
Oops.
August 1st through 4th, so
Oh
they're
look.
probably going to be showing this. They'll probably have tournaments and all that. I mean, I bought myself a vintage HeroScape master set, and I bought a bunch of cheap armies from like dollar stores, those Mattel Micro Minis. So I don't really have a need to buy this, but at the same time, if I hadn't done that, I probably would get it. Yeah, and we were talking about against the Ogre Horde, they skipped the pre-order. They went right to order. But this is pre-order. I don't pre-order stuff. I just order it.
Oh, it doesn't show them unpainted.
Yeah, it's like, what do they look like? Let's take a look at the chat here. Ribby says, never played HeroScape. Nobody has ever said anything about it that ever sold me on it. Well, the nice thing about HeroScape is it's a war game. It's a skirmish game. You've got the customizable terrain. Kids love it because you play with blocks to build the map. Then you play with the figures. And there's 2 sets of rules. There's the basic rules, which are basically like you see the guy, you roll the dice. It's just like HeroQuest. You've got the skulls and the shields, attack and defense. You hit them, they're dead. And the fights can be over real quick. So you can just like play like a whole series of rounds like that, a whole series of battles if you want, really easily, really quickly. But then they have the master rules, which I actually haven't played yet, but they have like these extra markers and there's special abilities and they have different like body points for different units. And there's like units that buff other units and there's all this stuff. So yeah, it looks like it's pretty it can be pretty advanced if you want to, but easy to get into as well. And there's a huge modding scene for it, like massive. So you can pretty much take, I mean, it's like the ultimate showdown of Ultimate Destiny. You can take pretty much anything and just say, okay, here's here's Shrek fighting, Voltron or whatever. Because the whole plot is, it's time travel in multiple dimensions and, aliens and stuff. So fits. I guess there is a storyline, but I mean, it seemed pretty contrived to me. Of course, you could say the same thing about Warhammer. It's like, what? How dare you say it's contrived? It's like the point is we're rolling dice. My army's fighting your army, but I created this huge backstory to explain why it makes sense that this is happening.
Voltron pulls out blazing sword. Voltron wins.
Fatality. Yep. It's like, oh no. See, he's in this like dimensional field that like reduces his power, so he's equal to everybody else. Well, I was gonna put Superman in the game, but I'm like, oh, there's no like similar character, but actually there's the Silver Surfer. It's like, oh, okay, so I just modify his stats and just say it's Superman.
They put Goku in there.
Everybody else is like powered up to
Superman versus
equal.
Goku is the ultimate. Get that ultimate.
Yep. Superman versus Goku versus Charles Barkley versus Godzilla.
Right.
So anyway,
Mecha Godzilla
I guess
on top of it all.
oh yeah. Oh man, I have. See, it's coming up again. The weakness. I have Godzilla Tokyo Clash board game, and that has miniatures for Godzilla and Mothra and King Ghidorah and
So
Baragon. So, and
speaking
they're
of
just
which,
the right size for this.
did you watch that new Godzilla movie?
Oh, Godzilla -1,
Yeah.
or yeah, I did. I
How
liked
was
it.
it? You liked it? That was
Good.
another
I
one that I
mean,
wanted to see, but
it's not an Academy Award winner. The Academy Awards are a bunch of crap in my opinion. But yeah,
yeah.
as a Godzilla movie, it was great. As a like maybe a casual fan watching it, it was great. The Legendary Films, I think it's still Legendary Films doing it, is doing like the Godzilla X Kong one, and it's like, yeah, the budget's like 100 times more, and it doesn't look as entertaining. See, it's weird. It's like the more expensive Godzilla is they're trying to be serious, but they fail at it, and then the cheaper Godzilla that comes from Toho, like just does it effortlessly. So I don't know. I
They
guess
try to put too
competition.
much on it. I feel like that
Yeah,
they just try to add so much
be simple.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, you've got a winning formula. Giant lizard attacks city, people scream in terror and run. And you put a cute little kid in there, and heartwarming little story, and hey,
Sometimes people become the the casualties of war.
yep. Yeah, well, Godzilla always had metaphorical stuff in it about nuclear power and the effects of World War II and stuff. And I thought it was a stroke of genius to go back to
Go back
that
to the guy
origin.
in the rubber monster suit. Oh,
Well, no, they have CGI that looks like a guy in a rubber monster suit.
yeah.
'Cause
We're
that's what.
trying to be
Well,
classic, but
it's just like Yoda. I mean, the first time we see Yoda, he's a puppet. So in your mind, he's always going to be a puppet of some kind. So if you're going
but
to use CGI, fine, but you got to make it look like a puppet.
wasn't who did his stuff? Wasn't it
Frank Oz.
yes, Frank Oz did a wonderful job putting life into him, even back in the way back in the day.
Yeah.
So what I just don't understand. There are some things I feel like that shouldn't be undone with certain. I don't know.
I mean, there's a couple of moments in Empire Strikes Back or Return of the Jedi where you're like, okay, I can tell he's a Muppet. He's not real. But I mean,
Yeah,
he
but
grows on you so quick. You just. I mean,
you
he
kind
looks
of
like,
lose it.
and
You just lose
like when
yourself in
he's
it.
in Return of the Jedi, people say, oh, Yoda was hardly in it at all. But man, his death scene was so awesome. I mean, it's like they studied like old people like in hospice or something. Like that's what he comes across as, and you feel sad when he's gone. It's like Yoda will always be with you. Obi-Wan. It's like,
Kept waiting for
and then we're
Yoda
off
to
to the
say Waka Waka.
Waka Waka. Like he pulls Luke really close, like to whisper in his ear.
Closer. I pooped
Waka.
in your food.
And I never told you.
Pooped in your food, I did. My
See
Yoda's
in
awful.
the Yoda culture, that's like the greatest honor you can pay someone is to poop in their food. So
Oh yeah.
Luke is like choking up. Yeah. No Kennys. Oh yeah, Kenny from Gamera. Yeah, those Mystery Science Theater episodes where they make fun of the Gamera movies. Great. See, we need Godzilla versus Gamera. When's that happening?
God.
Make it so. Schlock.
Make it
I
so.
love schlocky films.
Oh man, they're the best.
Yep.
Best of the
I
best.
did not.
Well, hi, Mog.
Yeah. So, what else do we have? So we've got Heroscape. Yeah, GenCon 2024. My plan is to go. We're just hammering out the details. And yeah, it's not going to be the same without Chris Nato and Avalon Bill there, but I'm sure that Avalon Hill will be there, and who knows, maybe Doug Hopkins will be there, and we can talk his ear off about the rules, or maybe Craig Van Ness will be back, and I
Hey,
can ask him, hey, what do you think?
maybe and Carmine will just show up as a regular person.
Yeah, there's nothing stopping him. He's not banned
Yeah, he's not banned. He's
unless
not banned from events.
he stole that broadsword. No, I'm just kidding. So one year they had this wasn't the year that I was there, but they had it was like a stand. It was like the barbarian's broadsword made out of metal, and you could pose with it so it looked like you were holding it, but really like a steel bar was holding it up. I'm like, man, who got that? Who absconded with that thing?
Who absconded? That's a wonderful word. Who
Yeah,
absconded
isn't
with
it?
that?
Yeah,
Just takes it
like
home.
who? Yep.
Answers the door with it, you know? Ding doom, you
Yeah.
pull out, you're like holding it up.
Like, oh, what was you say you're selling what again? Oh, no, don't run. Don't run.
Go right, come back. Come back here. This thing's
I
heavy.
got something for you. Same dudes that
This
walked out with the pal. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I can't remember. I don't even remember the name of it. Of the guys who stole the magic cards.
they stole
And
those?
yeah, there were some game developers who were at Gen Con last year, and they just like with their game shirts on and everything, and they just walked out with a big pallet full of like rare magic cards. Security camera. Yep.
They got
Yeah, so
I'm
it was a
guessing
big
they got
scandal.
caught and they got in trouble, right?
I haven't followed up on it. I assume so. But on Board Game Geek, they had like flagged. I think they flagged their forum for their game because people were just like spamming it with, you guys are crooks and criminals and you should be ashamed of yourself. Go to jail and give me some of those
Three
magic cards.
hundred thousand dollars worth.
Because I'm like, okay, you've got the Pinkertons going after a guy who accidentally gets sent stuff, but then these guys just kind of walk right past security. Nobody says anything. Yeah, $300,000 worth of cardboard. It's crazy.
That's intense.
Yep. So we'll see what kind of hijinks happen this year. But I have it on good authority that or at least right now, lots of people on the HeroQuest fans Discord are planning to go, which I think is awesome. I mean, I think at one time I would have been like the kind of person that's like, dude, I don't want to meet people I met on the internet, like in real life. But some of those people are all right, and you've got a shared interest. You're at the convention together, and you can have somebody to hang out with, somebody to play games with. So I think that's pretty cool. So we'll try to do something there. We'll try to at least say hello, at least stop by, share stories.
Yeah, don't forget. Don't forget, don't be a stranger. Come say hi.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I want to say that PSK was there last time. He had his own booth, and I didn't even realize. It's like, oh man, I should have come by. I would have said something.
Some of us are all right, and then there's Ribby. Oh,
Oh, Ribby with the stovetop.
the two dudes were charged with a class 5 felony. Yeah, I hope so. It's a lot of fucking money. I think if you steal, it depends on the merchandise, but if it goes over like $12 or $13 or $13,000, it like becomes another like level of felony or something like that. It goes really bad. Like it gets really bad.
Serious.
And I knew that because like back in the day when I was working at GameStop, there's a guy who stole phones from us while I was on
Oh,
duty, and like had to report that to police. And like I think it was once it gets over a certain amount of money, it starts becoming a fat like just a straight up felony. Like yeah, you just it's guaranteed time in jail.
yeah.
So
Not talking a slap on the wrist for shoplifting some little item.
yeah, and like I totally totally it was a funny story. I don't I'm not gonna say all of it, but like the idiot like who was trying to scam me. I guess he was stealing phones from his work and trading them in with us because we took phones in at the time. So
Oh
he
man,
traded in
that's how I
phones, and
feel
like
about those.
we were starting to get suspect because I was like a senior. I was like management there, and my manager above, I was telling him about it. He's like, "Oh, you can't do anything about it. He's just trading in phones." Well, he comes in
Keep
the next
coming in.
day and he's like asking for a phone back, and I'm like, "Okay, well, it's in the back there, but if unless you have the money, you can give me the money for it back." My manager says we can refund the transaction. Well, he goes, "Okay, well, let me go talk to my boss. Can I at least see it?" And I grab some information off of it. Well, what he did was I got busy. I had the phone on the table for him to get the information off of. And as I was doing that, he literally slips a dummy phone from his work in there and takes off with the real one. And
Dang.
like, but he leaves his military ID that I needed to scan his stuff. Leaves his military ID there and leaves everything
Jeez.
else there for like when I had to call the cops. So he just
Disgrace to
left
the
a
uniform.
he left a fucking footprint for everybody to see. So when I found out that it was when I went to go close, I found out it was a dummy phone. I called him
Mhm.
back, gave him one chance to bring the phone back, and then I called the police and called my manager. And then like after that in the morning, not only did they catch him on our camera doing it, but the cop was laughing because he left his ID at the store. So address, phone number, everything. Just
Yep.
caught with your pants down.
Yep. Ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Ruby says I'm there for all the days.
You,
And Joe
you guys are
Coaches.
gonna
Oh, cool. Yeah.
you guys are gonna have some
D-
fun then, huh?
I mean, last year I wasn't signed up for anything, so I just had the free or not the free the general passes. Like you pay $2, you get a general ticket or basic ticket or whatever, and maybe the event will be one ticket or maybe it'll be two tickets, but you can just wander around until you find something you want to do and you just do it. Or you can spend the whole time just looking at vendors. You can play games with other people. You can bring your own game and just like set it up and just like play random people. I mean, there's tons of stuff to do. I think they're still at the stage where you can't actually sign up for events yet. But I don't know. I might sign up for maybe one or two things this time. But I also don't want to tie myself down like I'm back in school again. It's like, oh, I got to be at this place, at this time, and oh, and I'm missing this one, and I got to go. I'd rather just be like, oh, here's a few things I want to spend my time on. It's like in the old days when you go to the video arcade. You look at all the games, and then you're like, okay, there's 5 games I really like, but then there's this one game I really want to spend my quarters on. So that's where I'm gonna come back to.
Right on.
But anyway, yeah. So it should be good, and I'll bring my. People are telling me, oh, you should get a burner phone, take it with you so you can report live, right away rather than having to like I had to borrow someone's laptop and like upload stuff and the hotel on the second day, which is how I did it. I mean, we still did a pretty good job, I thought,
Hey,
because there's
if you
always going to be people that get exclusives ahead of us, but I figure like we're presenting a certain perspective of like super fans for HeroQuest as opposed to some big company that reviews everything and
if you
we
uh
specific questions that we answer and that sort of thing.
if you need a laptop, brother,
Hey,
the one that's hooked up to my racing arcade wheel back there.
oh nice. Well, I've been thinking about replacing my old one.
Finally, you
It
mean?
Yeah, it's in a state of disrepair, but yeah, I've just been thinking, okay, I should just get one because I mean my PC is great for my streaming and stuff, but I don't know. On the other hand, though, I wouldn't want to lug a laptop around. but what I
It'd
want to
be
leave it at the hotel.
I
So
would
it'd be
I
a fun.
love I would love a wireless mic at some point in time. You reminded me of that. That's something that I need to invest in. Just for
Right, a shit
everything.
ton. Yeah.
Something just to
Well,
clip on your shirt.
when we did the guest stream, that's what I had. I had a wireless. The problem is like the game was so long that the battery started running out, so we had to switch batteries like mid. So there's a part where it's like all of a sudden I go silent and then I get it back again. We had so many sound issues. But yeah, we're gonna do that again in April. We're gonna try to do another guest stream. It's all dependent on uh, the guy who's doing it and whether he has time or not. But it's a lot of fun.
Right on.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm excited about Gen Con because of HeroQuest, of course. I mean, we already know about Against the Ogre Horde, but even though it hasn't been officially announced, we all know the next expansion is Jungles of Delthrak. And the very little we know about it has something to do with dwarves and something to do about jungles and some
And
new
Delthrak.
monsters, of course, and Delthrak, yeah, whatever that is. But we don't have a lot else to go on. So it
Oh,
seems to be another original expansion. So similar to Rise of the Dread Moon, you can't really predict what it's going to be. I mean, you can guess, but it's not like Against the Ogre Horde where we had a very good idea because it's just a legacy product that they're revamping. And still they surprised us. I mean, who predicted there would be a tournament? Nobody. They had to give us those clues ahead of time with the Wandering Monk and everything for us to know that. So yeah, by then we'll probably know a lot more about that, and maybe we'll have hints of the next expansion, which a lot of people are thinking is going to be Wizards of Morcar, because that was the last like official expansion, and it seems like Against the Ogre Horde is very successful. I mean, a lot of people were maybe a little bit doubtful that it was going to be well received, but it was. So, okay, you've got these two European exclusives. One of them's already released. Well, it's natural that they would release the next one. After that, who knows?
right.
Right. But that'll at least take us through 2025.
Just keep your eye out for those Delthraki people.
The Deltaraki, yeah. Crossover. Can you say crossover? Well, and then there was that whole hullabaloo about Avalon Hill on Instagram, I think. And we don't know who it was because it was just like an anonymous post on their social media, basically saying like, "Oh, well, what IP would you like to see mixed with HeroQuest?" Basically. So who knows what that's about? I mean, it could be something as simple as HeroScape and HeroQuest crossover, or Betrayal and HeroQuest crossover, or D&D, but it could be something totally different.
Did say how many Lord of the Rings or Star Wars people did you get in that chat?
Did I?
Yeah. Did you get
Yeah,
any of those?
I
Did
dissed
it?
them because I didn't mention their
Oh,
Lord of the Rings HeroQuest. That'd be kind of cool. Star Wars HeroQuest or
I always vouch for
Space
those.
Crusade.
Yeah, Space
Yeah,
Crusade
yeah,
or
Space Crusade.
what else? Hell, why stop there? Galaxy Quest, Star Trek. Let's go all out.
Yeah, yeah. That would be hilarious. Oh man,
Never give
I
up.
saw that movie again.
Never
Never
surrender.
surrender. I saw that. I had to watch that movie after we talked about it so much again. Yep. Yeah, I think it gets better every time I watch it. The first time I was like, I don't know.
Just
But
early Justin Long and younger Tim
going
Allen,
back,
and got
yep.
and Alan
Um,
Rickman to add on top of that. Sigourney Weaver. You got a really
uh,
great cast in that movie.
my
Tony
grandfather's
Shalhoub.
what
Just
a saving.
yeah. by,
See,
by
just the
Grabthar's
pain.
hammer. What a saving.
Yeah, but he pauses and you just the dagger that's twisted in his soul when he has to say those
Everybody coming
words.
up, but walking up to him. By Grabthar's hammer. Don't say it.
Yeah, he just gets more and more pissed off.
Oh yeah, Dwight Schrute was in that. Yes, he was.
Yeah,
He
I was
played one
just
of the
gonna say the
aliens.
guy from The Office. Yep,
Mm-hmm.
yep.
It's one of his
And see, I
really
didn't know
early
who
roles.
any of those people were. Yeah, and it's like now I can go, oh yeah, yep, Galaxy Quest.
I remember my first time ever watching that. Because I was a huge fan of Tim Allen when I was younger. I was like a uh, a young lad, a babby
Yeah,
bus, and I
Jonathan Thomas, and
we
yeah.
I was living. My mom had just bought this house, and we had just gotten fully moved in. And this was back when cable did, like, they, I don't know if they still do pay per view, but like they had pay per view as a
Oh
big
yeah.
thing
Well,
with our cable service, and like they were
wrestling and
like
UFC do it.
Galaxy
Yeah.
Quest on pay per view. It was like a year after the movie came out, and I had never seen it. I wanted to see it because my mom wouldn't take me to go see it, so I told her if we could buy it, and she was like, "Yeah, sure." And she went to go put it on the big TV, but I was so excited that I ordered it twice.
Oh dang.
So I ordered it in the other room. So,
So you could just run from one room to the other and watch it.
yep, yeah. That was before the whole that was even before on demand or anything. So you were literally stuck with
Final
whatever was
Count.
on. And pay per view was, you just paid to, yeah, you paid to watch it.
Super Slam
So
with John Cena.
1,000 Shroot Bucks equals 5 extra minutes for your break. There you go.
Shrewd buck.
Hmm.
Yeah. So who knows what they're gonna do, but we'll definitely have something to talk about by then, and try to get the exclusives on it.
Indeed.
But yeah, then the last thing, and I don't want to take up the whole stream talking about this, but I did get my hands on OrcQuest. Not a big deal.
Shows me the
Because
two humongous freaking boxes you've got in there.
yeah, so everybody else has already unboxed this game, so it's like, why do I even bother? It takes up my entire table. It's this huge, heavy box, and the nerve, the nerve, the nerve,
The nerve of
the
these
the
people.
the, the audacity of Amalgamash to have a video where he opens both boxes on screen. He and his wife open box, but each time he cuts away, so you can't see how much time it actually takes to open it. I don't know. Should I do it on this stream, or should I just do a separate video? Because I want to time it.
What
It
you should
takes
do is you should come
five and
over.
a half seconds. Yeah.
You should come over, and then we should do the same thing. You cut to one box, and I'll cut to one box, and you cut to one.
It's like, no, you tease. Listen, I was with you. You know, he did the Hulk hands. He did the wiping the sweat off the brow,
Uh
slamming
huh.
the box down on the table. He did the base turned way up.
Right.
It was all great. Then when he cuts away from the opening of the box, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
What are you,
He's
crazy?
he's crazy, insane.
No. Oh, stop it.
What's an amalgamash?
Ash Quest. Subscribe. Rate.
Subscribe.
Comment.
Don't.
Support on Patreon.
A Patreon. What's a Patreon? Oh my god.
I don't know what a Patreon
By the
is.
time you get that box slit open, the suction has created a mini black hole and caused a time dilation. You're stuck.
Well, it's
Stuck in a black hole.
the thing to realize about board games is it's a cardboard box, okay, but they take a piece of paper that has the artwork on it and they just overlay it and just glue it. And so the corners of these boxes are almost always secured with nothing but paper and good intentions. So every time you push down on the box, all that air is being forced down the sides and it's putting stress on that paper, and eventually it's just going to rip. And then you're going to have a ripped box. So you got to
Paper,
glue the box.
paper and good intentions.
Not your ages at an exponential rate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's like yeah, it's interstellar. Yeah, so anyway,
Cars.
OrcQuest, the other problem with OrcQuest that we've seen, other than the boxes taking a long time to open, I'm guessing it's probably 13 seconds, because that's right when he cut away. It's like 12, 13 seconds. So it's more than twice as much time as it takes to open the big box of HeroQuest, which I thought was excessive. I mean, it's one thing if you like, what you need to just set it out on the table and leave it there, because if you're going to take it out of the box and put it away and take it out of the box, it's going to take forever. My impression of OrcQuest is that they give you so many assets, but it's sort of like playing Betrayal 3rd Edition. Like every quest calls for different assets, so it's not like you're using all of them at the same time. So they do that, and then they also give you so many cards that it's like a trivia game. They've given you all the variety that you need. They've given you all the miniatures you need, but I see that like over 100 of the miniatures are gray. So I'm like, dang it. I get my spray paint out. So I have some different colors. So I'm going to make the undeads white. I'm going to make the humans red. I'm going to make the elves blue. So I'm at least get some basic colors, because the way it is now, you've got the orcs green, everybody's gray except for the porks, which are the pig people are pink, which I think is great. But the whole point of OrcQuest is it's a cooperative adventure where you're playing the orcs. It's good to be bad, and you're trying to kill everybody and plunder everything, and it's glorious. And the scale is very similar to the remake of HeroQuest, so it looks like you could mix and match, but it's a modular dungeon rather than a big board. But the other problem is the way the boxes are labeled. It looks like one box is the base game and the other box is the expansion. So I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But apparently, from what people have told me, though, it's not like that. They're actually mixed between the two boxes. They just put all the Kickstarter stuff, all the stretch goals, just wherever it would fit. So you basically have to take everything out of both boxes, remix it. So yeah, it's a mess. So just get some different storage solution to do it. It's all mixed. Yeah, Ribby knows about it, and Ribby, to his credit, has used MentorBot to create some virtual dice for OrcQuest in the HeroQuest fans Discord. I mean, anybody that's watched our game streams knows that we have virtual dice. So we have virtual dice for HeroQuest, also for Space Crusade, and now for OrcQuest as well.
Nice.
Yeah, because it's got different colored combat dice. But I mean, some of the stuff is pretty intuitive. It's like you basically you put together this little dice tray that has squares on it, and you roll the dice into the tray, and where the dice land, that's where you put the tiles on the board, and then you flip the tiles over, and then that shows you like what enemies to put down, because there's no GM character. It's like auto generated, so that's how you get like random patrols that you have to fight, and then you flip cards to see like what the enemy does. But that's the extent of what I know. I still need to study the instructions more and learn more how to play it. Oh, and they released some free content online as well that was on the Kickstarter page that they were promising. It was like a month past due, but they finally released it, so you can get even more adventures for free. Ruby says it's all mixed. You got to drill some pressure relief holes. Well, yeah. Also, I don't think it's so I noticed this with the recent HeroQuest releases, like the when they were putting the linen finish on the box itself. When you close the box, like some of the air can escape through those grooves. But when they don't have it, like in the against the Overhorde one, when it's just smooth box, it's like suction. It's like pressing down. There's the air gets trapped in the box. It's weird. Again, until you rip it, of course. Ruby says they got all the content packed into 2 boxes to get the shipping costs as low as possible. Hey, I appreciate that. That way they could fulfill the original backers from the 2018. Man, 2018? Wow, Kickstarter campaign. If you Google the Maze Games OrcQuest campaign, you can see all the original packaging. It was a lot of smaller boxes. Okay. Just looked it up on Monolith, and it appears the only version left is French. Oh, really? Yeah, because mine's in English for sure. Oui, oui, monsieur. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, it's I would prefer if they just released it in retail, and yeah, they just need it. They need to get their equivalent of Adam Glick to redesign the packaging so it's not so annoying. There's even candy trays in there. I don't know how tight they are. Not as tight as the Dune popcorn bucket. See, we've come full circle. So, what's happening in the world of Star Wars?
Okay, we're moving on there. All right, real quick before we get started with that.
Unless you had something to say at the end there.
No,
I feel like I talked a lot.
Real quick before we get started with that, I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna take a small break because I have to use the restroom. Get all my wiggles out.
Enough.
So, we'll take a quick break, and then we'll be right back with some more RantCast goodies for you. So don't go away, everybody.
RantCast. Sounds good.
A new era for the Empire. We will be able to decimate the rebels just as we did the Jedi Knights.
The Emperor will be most pleased. Continue with your project.
Those sounds you heard, we believe, come from that weapon. A new type of stormtrooper, the Dark Trooper.
A new stormtrooper that can take out a rebel base that quickly? I should have kept working for the Empire.
Jedi.
Jabba? What have you done with Jam?
I'm in.
If that thing down there is any indication of what we're dealing with, we're gonna need more firepower.
Stop where you are.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. Sorry, Kurgan. We're showcasing the trailer for that would be Dark Forces Remaster, which is what I'm going to be addressing first. Now, I own this game. I just bought it as of tonight because I've been looking forward to it for quite a long time. I already own Dark Forces, and I've been wanting to try out the remaster for a couple weeks now.
Now, is it actually called Dark Forces Remaster?
It is. It's labeled by Nightdive as Dark Forces Remaster. Now, this game has gotten very positive reviews. It looks very good. It's got a whole new level in it. It looks
from the development stage that's previously never released before.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's really hard too.
Didn't fix the Boba Fett kill. A+ remaster.
Well,
so I mean, it's
yeah.
I say this would be worth the price. This game is right now it is $30. It's a little steep for what it is, but
DOS first person shooter single player.
Yeah, so I would still say that if because I haven't had a chance to actually play it yet, if you're willing to get into a title that has probably no huge compatibility issues like the other Dark Forces title does, like, because I know like that one's gonna have some small issues every now and then, you know what I mean? So if you want something that just sinks you in, has better upscaling, there's a lot better controls. There's stuff that's been added to this game.
You had to aim with the keyboard in the original.
Yeah, I mean, and there's like I said before, there's mods and stuff for this.
No mid-level save. It was an Iron Man type first-person shooter.
Yeah,
consider like you had Doom,
similar
2,
to Doom,
and then Hex and Heretic, and then you had like this game, and then I think Duke Nukem 3D came up about pretty quickly, and people kind of forgot about it. This one,
yeah,
but it's still it's a cool Star Wars story back from that early time period, back before the dark times, before Disney got their claws into it.
Just to reiterate here and to give off what the game actually is describing itself, it is a fully remastered game brought to you by Nightdive Studios, which Nightdive does a pretty alright job with their remasters of classic games. Through the proprietary Kex engine, allowing the game to run on modern gaming devices up to 4K resolution at 120 FPS, new and returning players will enjoy Star Wars Dark Forces remasters, upgraded gameplay, high resolution textures, enhanced lighting and rendering, and support for gamepads. That's what they're bringing to the table, pretty much. That's exactly what they're bringing to the table as you see. And you saw a little bit from the trailer. If that interests you, that's their price point is $29.99. Will probably fall on sale eventually. And no, it's not exactly the same thing as Lucius's The Force Engine, but I think he did contribute to this.
Yes. And if you want the exact quotation, you can go to the Force Engine website, and Lucius, or is it Lucius DX? So the same guy that did Dark XL back in the day. Like he that guy, so is an indie developer he created from scratch his own like FPS engine, basically. And you take your old Dark Forces disc and it pulls the assets from the disc and puts them in there, so it recreates the game in high resolution with uh, graphical overlay effects, mouse look for aiming instead of aiming with the keyboard, bug fixes. So because Boba Fett's not very, I mean, like he needs to be harder to defeat, so he like put all kinds of stuff in that. So he the Force engine is free, but you need to own the game already to get it. So that versus just buying Night Dive's version that's already completed. So they were developed independently of each other, but they did like basically, I don't know if they just met one time or if they corresponded, but they were in communication with each other. They weren't in competition. It was like, okay, these guys are doing the official one, I'm just doing like a fan project. They kind of compared notes. Okay, this is my solution for this problem, we have a different solution. I don't think they shared any code, so just kind of like more just like information, just sharing information. Supposedly there was some bug. I'm trying to think. Is it in the ice caverns where like you can clip into the wall and get stuck? Apparently in the night dive version, but not in Lucius's version. But I mean, who's to say they wouldn't fix that? So other than that,
Right.
they do pretty much the same thing. It's just different ways. But if you don't want to do any of the tech support stuff, you don't want to mess around with it. Um,
And it's
it's
been
already done
recorded
for you
to
in the
be
Steam
a
version.
pretty stable version of the game. Like
Yeah, yeah,
it's gotten pretty good reviews, and it was launched February 28th, so in the last, I don't know, 16, 17 days it's been out.
yeah.
Not a lot of bad has been recorded on it.
I'll,
Now,
I'll
just
probably
giving
get it too. It is. I'll probably wait till it's on sale though, if I'm being honest, because that is kind of a little bit pricey. I mean, I have Dark Forces and I've played um, the free version, the Force Engine one.
but
Now, one thing about the Force Engine, I just want to say this, and maybe you can confirm or deny this with the Night Dive version. So he allows you to turn down the graphical features. So you're just playing like an optimized version that looks like it's running in DOS. Like you can do that. You can turn off
I
the
don't know.
features,
I just bought the
or you
game.
can turn them all on and make it pretty.
I
So I
wouldn't.
wonder, yeah,
We can do that. We can do that because I'll be able to turn the game on here in a couple seconds. But what I'm going to do is I'm showcasing a couple things here. So we're going to show off the requirements for this game, and then for the next Star Wars game here that we're about to show off, and then
oh yeah,
we'll kind of do a gameplay, like maybe a level or two of Dark Forces if we've got time. But
yeah. Now is that Star Destroyer? I think it's the Star Destroyer level that was from early in the development of Dark Forces that's included in this Night Dive Steam version. It's almost like that's the selling point because I don't think that's previously been released that you could actually play it.
okay,
And it's supposedly like it's really challenging because like they they would take that level and they would carve it up into multiple levels that would be like in the retail product. Like they were way much more ambitious in that early stage of what you could complete on, one set of lives with no saves.
yeah. I mean,
So I'm curious to
besides
see that.
that and the upscaling that was done by themselves, um, and the a little bit of the improvements to the 3D rendering of the game. The game requires you to have a most modern software, so 64-bit processor for hardware, Windows 10. We'll kind of bring that on camera here. Your Intel Core i5 2300, 2.8 gigahertz AMD Phenom 2, so pretty low requirements here. 4 gigs of RAM, which is below the requirement for most games. Any GPU with a DirectX 11 or Vulkan 1.1 support, and if you need a sound card, which I don't have one anymore, but you have a sound card or onboard sound. So that's what they've got here. If you have, and that's for the recommended. The minimum is even less. So the game is still 420 megabytes. So I'd say for what they've got here, you've got a pretty good deal.
I think the redone or the upscaled cutscenes. I'm not sure if Lucius's version had that in it.
Well,
That's
and
kind of cool.
like I said, we're still waiting on the final release of the Force Engine. And like I said, with the Force Engine, that's fine. I'm trying to see if it's worth the price of
Taking its
between
time.
that and because even still, if you're buying somebody and you're like older, right, and you don't know how to mod, you don't want to learn how to mod, this would probably be it for you.
Yeah, easy.
And
well, and
like
there's and you can get both because one's free and one you buy, so it's not like you have to choose one or the other.
yeah, just what you see. Yeah. The next game on our docket has a slightly different version, and or a slightly different outcome. And it's brought to you by our friends at Aspire. Sorry about the dark. My light background isn't open right now, so I'm kind of just cheesing it. I'll see right here. Give me 2 seconds. Let's see if I can make my face a little bit brighter, just a tad. So this one's brought to you by Aspire, and this is the re-release of Battlefront 1 and 2, the originals. This would be called the Classic Collection, is what they're calling it now.
Fight I will.
Ouch, that's loud.
The better game.
Yeah, so
I mean, they weren't flawless games, but at least they didn't have grinding DLC, pay-to-win bullcrap.
So this is Aspire's new, well, not new, but their re-release of Battlefront 1 and 2. People are going to ask me, hey, what's the difference? Is it just like what Nightdive's doing with the Dark Forces? Yes and no, and I'm going to tell you why right here. And then we'll kind of go into detail. Without telling you what people think about it or whatever else is going on with it, we'll kind of just go off what the trailers are showing right now. The game has upscale textures and assets. The game is supposed to be providing multiplayer support back again, so you're going to have 64-player multiplayer support on both games, both titles. So that's Battlefront 1 and 2. And they're bringing the DLC characters into the game. You know, if you ever played on PC, you usually had to mod those characters in. So, and it's, upscaled to reach certain resolutions, like I said before. But besides that, that's all you're getting. Can anybody, before I show you, tell me what price this game is going to be at without looking at the Steam page?
3 easy payments of $49.99.
$49.99. Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect. This game is $35.01, by the way.
What? Okay, I was just kidding around, but
no, 35. Overwhelmingly negative reviews.
Yikes. If you order in the next 5 minutes.
Okay, that's a little more than I'd think. Yeah, so it's a little steep. It's a little steep. Now, without thinking, why is this overwhelmingly negative? It's providing almost just the same thing that the Dark Forces remaster is. It's going to include the bonus map Jabba's Palace, which is bullshit because most of the time you could get Jabba's Palace if you got it on PC. Battlefront 2 maps will include Battlefront 1 maps, so you get Bespin City, or Bespin Cloud City, Renvar Harbor, Renvar Citadel, Yavin 4, Arena, which is nice, but you could have also modded in those. And it includes bonus heroes such as Asajj Ventress and Kit Fisto. Great, they're bringing in the console DLC characters. Wonderful. And then you're going to get just the same stuff that you got in the original version. I did not buy this version, and I'm going to tell you why. These guys were modded into the game on the PC version, right? Especially Asajj Ventress. And the way you could tell is Asajj Ventress had a different stance when she was a DLC character. When you're modded in, she uses I believe, like a Mace Windu stance or something like that. She uses like a different asset. Because it's a mod, right? Our friends at Aspire took a modded person's work and threw it in there. So this is the Asajj Ventress mod. I don't know about Kit Fisto, but I can tell you they're taking modded assets in there, which the mod creator found out and was not upset about. They were pretty flattered that a developer would actually use their work from forever ago. Um, all of this stuff can usually be imported very easily. Battlefront modding is so easy; it's drag and drop. That's it. Um,
Yeah, I
and
kind of
then
remember.
on top of that, look at our requirements here. Because it's not minimum and recommended. Your minimum is you have to have either a GTX 750 to run the game now, 50 gigs of available space,
Dang.
which it totally shocks me. Hold on, I'm gonna go and check out my original Battlefront requirements because it's unreal. For their upscaling. Now keep in mind how much nightdives was, right? Where is my classic? Where is Battlefront? I have so many Star Wars games. Okay, we're just gonna look at Battlefront 2. I don't even know if is it even on the store page still. Yeah, you can still buy it. It's $10. Okay.
Man.
The game is 4.3 gigabytes, and I'm guessing Battlefront's probably less than that, or the same.
But they've
Required
improved the graphics so much, so it's
so
surely worth
much,
the
so
price,
much.
right?
In fact, here, come check it out, guys. Look how much the graphics have improved. They're just not blurry. You're getting upscaled graphics, pretty much. So I don't know what else to tell people on that, other than the fact that the
These
game
graphics are the same.
has immense it takes up an immense amount of hard drive space. For the
You
game's
pay a
title anymore.
fortune, and it looks like ass.
And then the servers for the game, which is pretty much the main selling point for most people who bought this game.
Yeah, okay.
The servers for Battlefront 1 are non-existent, and when the game was launched, there were only 3 servers available for Battlefront 2.
Wait, so 3 servers of like 64 players? That's all who can
Yeah,
play the
there were
game?
only 3 available servers.
I hope they
I
only sold
guess.
64 copies.
And like on top of that, they had
But the whole
they
point is
were
to play it multiplayer.
well, they released the servers. Hey, I liked playing the instant
I
actions
did
and
too.
stuff.
I did
But
too. I did.
the
To
big
be
part
fair.
here is the fact that we now have um when they did fix it and they brought the servers back in the game, the servers are horrible quality. They have horrible ping. You get kicked a bunch of times. They were not built for this. So
Oh.
I would
What is it
recommend
with these
staying away from this.
nostalgic re-releases where they just can't give you good servers? Like why even give you multiplayer if they know it's going to be just
I don't
like
know.
unplayable?
It's real bad though. The fact that they and I feel like this is an Aspire problem though, just to be honest, because like I said, Aspire's had their work cut out from them since they went from phone porting. And like I said, porting for mobile devices is hard enough when you're taking things like KOTOR or KOTOR 2 and stuff like that. They had a hard time doing that, but they did it, right? They ended up doing it. Now they're being asked to go from mobile games to doing classic re-releases on bigger hardware, and I feel like that's something they could do if they had more time. I kind of feel like this is a Grove Street game situation where they're given a really harsh deadline and they're being told to do stuff, especially when they also had to do the KOTOR remake. Keep that in mind.
Oh
They
shoot!
were
Yeah,
they
the
were put under
cancel
the
one.
yeah they were put
They were
under
crunched.
the glass for the KOTOR remake. So yeah, this is like one of those things where like even if you take a look at like some of these, I also forgot to mention, guys, that these textures that are upscaled, they look okay. They're done all with AI. They got an AI upscaler to do it. So,
I remember the
ev-
original game having like blurring effects to cover the fact that it was a little bit
yeah,
more
it's like really bad
lower
depth of field.
poly. Yeah.
Like, but it looked good
Right.
back in the day because that depth of field like
Oh,
added some realism to the game. At least I
it
felt it
did.
did. So
Well, and I would when it came out, I remember comparing the first Battlefront to Jedi Academy, Jedi Outcast, because that's what I was used to. But I understood that they lowered the poly count because you have these big armies fighting rather than just a dozen guys. So and
and
big
this
vehicles
is
and stuff, that kind of made sense. But then they would like blur it to make it kind of cover it up a little bit.
well, it
So
also
this
depends on what
AI,
hardware you were running at. You were playing on PC, weren't you, or you were playing on console?
yeah, PC, yeah.
Okay, because like I said,
Even
I
though
played on a horrible PC, and I still got a pretty good,
it felt very much
experience.
like a console game that had been ported to the PC rather than the other way around. But I mean, it was fun to just mess around, just grab a vehicle and just start going. And of course, we've talked about this before, how people discovered an exploit in a lot of the maps where you could just like go prone and you could crawl backwards like through a wall, and then you could just snipe people and they couldn't see you.
So
So then in the second game, they just took that feature away. So now you can't go prone instead of fixing the maps. So I
person's
wonder, they probably didn't touch that at all in this, did they?
a person's
old
bad
time.
review is they just linked the original Battlefront 2.
Oh, dang. That's like all they had to say.
Yeah, first hour of launch as of March 14th. It had 3 servers to join, massing about 200 people rounded up. Was only able to join one heroes versus villains match, and the heroes side was completely broken. No one could join the heroes team, which resulted in no one to fight against. I figured this may have been a Battlefront 2 issue, so I hopped on over to play BF1 multiplayer. There are 0 servers up for BF1.
Strange Bus, maybe you can confirm or deny this, but I was at a LAN party a long time ago, and we tried to play Battlefront 1, like where we were all on one team versus bots, and it didn't work, but we could do it in Part 2.
I have never had a problem playing these games in multiplayer, either one. But I've also played them, and I've played them both on console and PC.
Okay. Well, to be fair, that was so long ago. I mean, they could have patched it or modded it. But I mean, we were always just like, yeah, well, what if we just want to gang up against the computer? Like you could in one of the games, but the other one you couldn't.
So with LAN parties, I'm going to assume that there may have been a problem there, because I don't think I've ever done a LAN party on this before. But like, that's a thing, right? Is that the original one was kind of up in the air, but I feel like I never really had problems where I would stand out here and go, wow, like it's unplayable in this level. Like there were some balancing issues that you could fix with mods. Like there were certain, especially with Battlefront 1, holy shit, dude. Did I spend like the Bespin City one? Or like it was so unfair for clone troopers. Like because you were given a point where they were both given even ground. The droids and the clone troopers were given even ground, but since the droids had droidicas with shields, there were only certain weapons that the clone troopers could use to negate that, like grenades or rockets. And since the AI was not complicated enough to just completely use those all the time or use those in certain situations, they would just fire at the droidicas with blasters, and it would wear down their shields, but it wouldn't take them out long enough before they got mowed down by droidicas. So you would spend a good 15 minutes of the game in Cloud City holding down one point, trying to get to that middle section, because you were the only guy, if you were the only player playing in like instant action, mowing down droids, because your friends were getting slaughtered by droidicas, because they'd come in waves. They would just come in waves, and that's how I got good. I got good at using prone. I got good at jump ducking. I got good at all sorts of stuff, because like back in the day, yes, you played multiplayer, you learned how to get good, but you could also like play certain maps and learn like which areas of the map you could take advantage of.
So you had patience. I didn't have patience.
I had time.
See, I'm
like
that helped you.
I was a kid. I had time. So
the first person shooter games that I grew up on were like, the Rambo, the One Man Army, your Halos, your Jedi Knights, your Quakes, where it didn't matter. Like if you got good, you could pretty much just do whatever. But I feel like with games like this, you got to have that team coordination. And I remember joining games and like there was no coordination at all. And then you'd always be going against like some clan where they're like, they've got like this well-oiled machine and there's just no chance. And I never wanted to like organize a group like that. So I don't know. I kind of gave up after a while. But
yeah, there were lots of clans, like they had like the CTKs and stuff like that would play a lot. But like I remember being on the top of the leaderboard for a long time, especially in Battlefront 2, like the world ranking for the longest time, because I would play with some big people, but like I was no way like pro. It's just the fact that I learned where to go when you were in certain maps. So like if you're in like Death Star or like something like that, the main hangar was a place to be. Or like if you
Yeah,
were in
lots of kills.
yeah, like just it depends on the game mode you're playing too. Like my vision or my memories are really blurry because that was a long time ago. But sometimes you just be on RP servers too, where like they'd RP at Java's Palace, or like that was the first
Role
RP
play.
server I'd ever run into. Like, because
See, I
I
remember
don't
people doing
remember.
that in Jedi Outcast. People did that.
Well, yeah, but I never ran into one until like Battlefront time.
Oh,
And like I ran
yeah,
into
man.
like a Java's Palace. I just started killing people, and
You're
I
like,
got like put in jail. And I was like, what
booted.
the fuck is this? And the dude was like, well, you're murdering everybody. I was like, isn't that the point of the game?
Yeah, you're supposed to murder everyone.
Yeah, but like
Yeah,
so.
yeah. It's man, that I really hated it in Jedi Academy and Jedi Outcast. But
Really? Oh, dude, they had some really, really creative ones. Like,
I
especially in
mean,
Jedi Academy. Like ones that would
if
teleport
you,
you to different sections of map, and like, especially there was a guy who
I don't.
utilized the speeder bike map, like the one where you travel, and he
Mhm.
like set up teleportation zones. So like, you wanted to go to a cantina, it would send you to a modified like
Oh,
map of a cantina
well,
from
that's kind of
there.
cool. I mean,
Yeah, it
let me
was really
let
nice.
me let me let me rephrase what I'm saying. So I don't mind that people do this like metagaming. Is that the wrong term? But yeah, they're coming up with creative ways to enjoy the game differently than how it was intended. No problem with that. It's when people would try to like enforce that like outside of, like the common consent, like they try to, just join your server and start doing that, or, I don't know, just yeah, they would just try to sabotage like people who just wanted to play the game just the regular way. That's
Right.
that's when I drew the line. And like I'm trying to go on and play and it's like I can't tell which servers are regular and which ones are RP, unless they're labeled that way. It's
Or
like, okay, I,
B.
I don't go. Well, it's like it's maybe it's like this. Okay, if you join the server and there's some big, banner that says this is a role playing server, okay, fine. But like give me the benefit of the doubt. Like I'm going to join your game. I'm not going to just assume it's a role playing server unless you like go out of your way to tell me. So I figure there's like a courtesy there, and a lot of people were just not like that.
So
I'm sure it's probably different now.
I'm guessing the map that you're looking at, or the thing that you're looking for here, is the Avenger map, right? That's the Star Destroyer map.
Yeah, for Dark Forces.
Okay, I think I found it. We'll see
Yeah.
here. That way we
Now, of
can get
course,
some
I'm
like
also
gameplay,
thinking
but
they need to release that to the public so that people can run it in the regular Dark Forces as well.
it shouldn't be loud. I can't turn the sound down here. Hold on.
Audio Jungle.
Audio Jungle. Sorry. Hopefully, because
Slash
this is
not
now
sorry.
running an opera, so make sure it's not.
Oh, you're not using Tor browser anymore?
Ouch. Ouch, that's really fucking loud. Hurts my ears, alright?
It's so loud.
It's so loud.
Not even with cowbell. The Avenger. The Star Destroyer. Oh, sweet. You can change it. Yes. Okay. Well, that answers my question. You can turn the graphics up and down. So if you want it to have the pixelated look of the original, you certainly can. Probably run faster. It won't look as good though.
Oh, like that's what you're asking, like a comparison, like a difference between the two?
Yeah.
Kind of like what Halo Anniversary did?
Exactly. Yeah, you can just toggle it with a button. Yep, I'm glad they did that. I mean, it may seem like a small thing to like.
Oh no, man! That's what I was wondering too.
I appreciate that option because for a lot of people, this is Dark Forces. Like maybe you can't dig out the CD and just pop it and play it. It's either this or nothing. So maybe you want to have that nostalgia trip, or you don't like the way the redone graphics look. So just switch back and forth, whatever your preference is. Play it again with a different look. Although Halo Anniversary was interesting because they didn't just upscale the graphics, they actually gave you, whoa, okay, that's a glitch. Stormtrooper butts clipping through the wall. course, in the original, well, I guess you could have looked up with the keys. Looks pretty decent though. Blue key. Yeah, got the lighting effects. I always like the music.
It's 21 minutes. Yeah, let's get some meat and potatoes to the level, huh? You're supposed to be in like a hangar at one point in time, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, they were saying that this, like, the regular Dark Forces levels were not this long. Like, this was early on. They were throwing all this stuff together, so it's like, this is like way harder than a typical Dark Forces level in the released version. Wait, are we actually playing?
No.
Or are we just watching?
Just watching.
Okay. Well,
I just wanted to see. I want to see what the hangar level what looked like, but
yeah. Do you have to unlock it, or is it in there already?
I don't know. Like I said, I haven't actually played yet, so I mean, we can showcase it if you want.
Do it. Do it.
All right, hold on.
What is that? What do you, the fans at home, say? Yeah. Last game I played at a LAN party was Scorched Earth. LAN parties are the best.
Scorched Earth.
I'll tell you though, the last LAN party I was at was 2005. Friend of mine had just gotten married, and we got together, and it was like, I wanted to play the Jedi Knight games so bad, but nobody wanted to play me because they'd heard I was good. It's like, come on! I played you guys when you were playing Quake 3 and all these other games that I sucked at, and I didn't complain. But it's like, okay, fine, outvoted. Dang it. Now they didn't take AI and use James Earl Jones's voice to redub the Vader. But I'm kind of glad they didn't, because you know the charm of the original was the sound and the music and the voices, as you remember from the 90s.
Let's give it a shot.
Dark Forces. Kyle Katarn, ladies and gentlemen. And Jan! Or I see the Dune popcorn bucket. Oh no. Nightdive. Louder. Oh man, look at it. It's all 3D rendered. What? Title screen.
Hold on, I have to get my headphone buckle.
But this is an example of treating this source material as well. And then your other example with Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2 remaster is an example of botched.
Okay, hold on, we're gonna turn the sound down so I can hear you.
Yeah, I can see.
Fucking hear anything. Like, that drum beat is just killing me, bro.
This is giving me like mid 90s PC game vibes though. So I kind of like the way they did this.
Oh, so you could change the music types.
Yep.
That's nice. That is definitely nice.
So I think so far I'm not gonna give up on the Force engine, but I'll probably get this.
Oh, you could change the field of view, jack it all the way up.
If nothing else, I would get it for the bonus level, which hopefully will be available other places too.
So hardware, software mode, enhanced sprites, enhanced cutscenes. And 20 hertz. All right, let's do it. Let's go in. Let's do this.
And that's all the time we have on the RantCast. Join us next week. It's like, no, what?
What?
No.
What?
Do that. Admiral Akbar, please. Many stormtroopers died. Wow, it's like a fish island.
I like to play my games, bro.
So, See, I played the Dark Forces demo over and over and over again. Then I got Dark Forces 2 Jedi Knight, played the heck out of that game, and then I came back and played and finished Dark Forces. I think I got into the sewers, and then I was like, I don't like this game anymore. Like, I'm tired of this. People told me, no, you gotta go farther. It gets better. And
You
they were
stopped
right.
at the sewers?
Yeah.
Bro.
I just wandered around.
There's that dash jump.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's like strafe running, jumping. I'm still finding secrets in this first level. All these years later. Oh yeah, I never realized that you can jump over the wall and all this other stuff. Is it choppy a little bit?
No, it's not for me. This is a smooth 120. You guys won't be able to see the 120 hertz, but because it's playing, stream's playing at 60, but this is very, very, very smooth, my friends. Is it F5 for the lamp? I can't remember. How do you turn on the lamp? Oh, okay, there you go. R. I got it.
Yeah. Headlight on,
Dude, that's the
headway.
shit I'm gonna forget. It's like the gas mask and the lamp.
I love how the gas mask makes you sound like Vader with the breathing. I liked it more for that than the fact that it protects you from poison gas.
Oh shit! I always end up. Oh, this is moving way quick.
It is nice and it's got a very clean look at this high level. So you've got the stuff jacked way up. The revive. Strafe jump. Yeah. I always wished you could destroy more stuff, but I mean back then, yeah, you could shoot out all the lights. Pretty much. You can break the displays. Yeah, every first-person shooter game at the time was trying to improve on what Doom had done. You know, add just a little bit more new features.
The Doom clone?
Prizes.
I'm gonna say it, man. I think this is a very competent remaster. So.
Yeah. Did they put a texture on the mouse droid?
No.
I don't remember those pock marks being on the walls. I guess that's just that much upscaled.
Yeah, you're gonna notice a lot of things, bro.
So there's a popular myth that LucasArts actually like reverse engineered or hacked the Doom engine to make this game, but it's not true. They studied the Doom engine, but they made their own. This is the Jedi engine. I guess what people think, or what people say, is they act like they modified Doom to make it, but if they did reverse engineer anything, it was just to get ideas. I guess similar to what Lucius and Nightdive have done. They basically made their own game, but with all the bells and whistles and details of the original, so they've like recreated it.
So this game has subtitles, and it also has achievements, which I guess is a bonus, right? Like, who gives a shit, right? But like, I think the subtitles are nice, and the formatting is also good.
Force Engine has subtitles. I'm not sure if it has achievements though. So that might be something brand new for this one. Oh, look at the sky. Oh, the Moldy Crow in all her glory.
Right.
Kyle delivers the plans to the Rebel Alliance. Soon afterwards, the Death Star.
I like how the one in
even as the
Jedi Knight
Alliance celebrates
still has
this
kind of that boxy
another
look to it.
sinister plot is set in motion that will become an even greater concern for the rebellion.
Guile delivers the plans to the Rebel Alliance.
These are the new cutscenes, by the way.
When Kyle grabs the Death Star plans, he doesn't say piece of cake though. He says that was too easy.
Thank
Don't
you,
get your
Lord Vader.
games
What
confused.
I
It's not
unveil
He's not
today
Duke
will
Nukem.
mark a new era for the Empire. We will be
Wow.
able to decimate the
I'm not
rebels
sure if I
just
like
as we
this.
did the Jedi Knights.
I mean, it looks
At
cool,
last,
but
the Emperor's war will be filled only with the glory
maybe
of
it's just the
nuclear
frame rate.
decisive victory.
It looks like a painting.
A noble cause,
It is.
General. I hope the demonstration lives up
It's
to
pretty.
your claims. Proceed.
With pleasure.
I don't mind it. I
A
think
little-
the
a
fuzziness
little
of the rest. I think the fuzziness of the resolution and stuff like that. Like, and then it kind of adds a little bit more charm and kind of keeps the
Yeah. The
blockiness
way
from going
Vader
away.
moves, it's a little bit of South Park, a little bit of Newsgrounds.
But I don't think it's too Uncanny Valley.
This looks fine. With this Dark Troopers. They always looked kind of like CG renders.
And keep in mind, they are trying to do a restoration project just like Lucius for something that's like a long time, almost what, 30 years old?
Yeah. See, this looks good. See, there's going to be people that play this who've never experienced the original Dark Forces, and then there's also people who are going to be comparing this to, you know, their memories of the original.
Is there a one-button switchover? There should be a one-button switchover from like old to
The
new.
Emperor will be most pleased.
Oh, can you go back to the old
Continue
cutscenes?
with
I
your
don't know.
project.
Certainly, Lord Vader.
I in the video you were showing at the start, it looked like there were toggles. Unless they were quick cutting.
No,
It
that's
looked
like
like
general
there were-
settings. You have to go into general
Commander,
settings
for
and do it.
responding at such short notice. The Empire has been keeping us
Can
on
you-
the
can
run
you
since
bind
the
hotkeys?
destruction of the Death Star.
Maybe.
5 days
'Cause if you
ago,
could switch on the
Empire
fly, that
attacked
would be
one
the
of our
best.
secret bases in the city of Talais.
I could almost picture this being like a real, like this would be an actual game from the 90s like this. Like if anybody's ever played Pirates Gold on the PC, I mean, the graphics look like paintings. Of course, there was Pirates, Sid Meier's Pirates, and then Pirates Gold was like the deluxe, remastered, revamped version.
Tac base was
And that just
destroyed
happens to be the
within
one I
minutes.
remember the most.
Many innocent
Good game, by the
people
way.
in the surrounding city, as well as the rebel staff, were killed.
Yeah, this could be interesting.
Intelligence thinks that this may be an act of retaliation for the destruction of the Death Star.
Interesting. This looks like it could be a normal Imperial attack.
That little rank cylinder that he's got on his arm looks like it's giving
Very
us the
perceptive,
finger.
Commander. I know you understand that all we discuss here is classified. This Imperial
I just
officer,
notice weird
Trix
things like
Medine,
that.
wishes to defect to the Alliance. He
Ah,
has
Trix
provided
Medine.
us with information on
Good
the
old
development of
Medine.
a new Imperial weapon.
Yep.
Those sounds you heard, we believe, come from that weapon.
Good old
A
matey.
new type of
Trix.
stormtrooper, the Dark Trooper.
The Dark Trooper.
A new stormtrooper that can take out a rebel base that quickly? I should have kept working for the
She's
Empire.
much better animated than Mon
The
Mothma
Rebel
was in
Command
Mistress
is
of the
not
Sith,
taking
that's for
this
sure.
lightly. They have authorized me to hire you to find out if there is a
Remember when
threat,
she's
and
on the
if there
monitor
is,
and she's just
to
like,
shut it down.
"Mah, mah,
That's
mah,"
us.
like a child,
Still
just
on our
two
side.
frames of animation. I love Mysteries of the Sith. People give it a bad rap.
This
but
could be
I
interesting.
played that game so much.
Alright, I'm in.
Didn't I play that once or twice when we did the Star Wars like all games marathon?
Mission officer.
Oh man.
Certainly. There
Yeah,
are
I think I
people made
think I saw
mods.
that on there.
your mission objectives.
Yeah, people made mods to like improve the sounds and stuff like that. I would say I played Mysteries of the Sith at least as much as I played Jedi Knight online. And I
Damn,
played
bro.
that game a lot. So you
Good to
you,
see
you
ya,
did
Kyle.
Battlefront, I did
I did a little bit of both.
you were known to do a little bit, dabble a little bit back in your time, back in your day.
Yeah. Yeah, I dibble dabbled.
This is the level where so when I played Doom 3, I was never scared. This game freaked me out. There was like a couple of spots where you go into a corner and Stormtrooper comes out of nowhere and it's like, "You're not authorized to them." Like, jump, you get the tingling sensation in the back of your neck.
Well, just
Like
the
you're
fact that
haunted
all the death and stuff that you run into in here, and also the music. This is being played with some of the restored music, so you're hearing like the bass booms, but like the music hits
mean,
hard. Like, oh, look at all these charred
it-
corpses, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I liked this, but it was like, it's a good game. But I mean, just the guys, the jump scares got me in this one.
I always forget where to go.
I was not a little kid either. It's like, wah! You know, your roommate hears you yelling in the other room. It's like, what?
What the fuck, Mom?
No! No!
Kind of adds the fear of the Empire in here. They're lurking in the dark,
Like,
waiting
look,
for you.
I'm. It's like, you're not authorized in this area. Like, I'm sorry. I'll get authorization and I'll come back.
Please don't shoot me. Please don't deactivate me.
Violation of Imperial law. So much for the New Republic. I'm mixing my games here. Think you could make it?
The jump? No.
Yeah, a long strafing run. I bet there's somebody out there that can do it. And kill both the stormtroopers while in midair. No scope.
I bet you they could. I'm not.
I always forget too that, like, I'll admit there was a couple of times I looked at the guide to get through this one because there's a couple places where you can like blow open walls, but I missed the little crack in the wall that indicated you could.
Was this here in the original game?
Nope, that's something new.
Ooh.
So a quick toggle weapon. I mean, I don't think I don't use that in modern games, but yeah, that's a very modern game.
Also, my blaster is firing at super speed now.
Do you have the power boost, or is it
I
just
think I picked it up. I just didn't notice it.
Oh yeah, because your ammo is yellow. See, yeah, you got the power. I love the power boost, especially in Jedi Knight. I was look. It didn't matter if I had the concussion rifle. I would switch back to the stormtrooper rifle because I loved how fast it fired.
Like minigun almost.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm trying to turn around to look at you. Quit turning around. Stop.
Oh yeah, that's the latest thing that Lucius is working on is voxels. In this, so you'll have like basically 3D models, except they're made of pixels.
Oh yes, voxels are wonderful.
Yeah.
That's what Teardown works off of is voxels. Oh, perfect.
The first time I saw voxels were in I think it was Delta Force, which had come out around the same time as like the Rainbow Six games. And I was like, I don't know if I like this, but
well, that was really early, man. And they're now just starting to get really popularized, like as like a mainline
especially in these
form
type of games. Yeah, in these type of games where you've got the sprite-based images anyway, it looks like it fits, like it would have been something that they had back then.
Okay,
Which they did have, is just they did implement it. Yeah, sometimes when I'm playing Dark Forces, I forget, and I think I'm playing Duke Nukem Forever, or not Duke Nukem Forever. Why did I say Forever? Duke Nukem 3D, like the urinals, and it's like I'm trying to hit the space bar to get 15 health back.
Oh yeah, you're trying to do your pee.
Much better.
Here you go.
Yeah. Yep. I like the little static effect. Yep. Looks pretty decent. Looks like they even got the same color correction, or very similar. Do you have your headlight on too? Oh yeah, I was gonna say it's like brighter than. Yep, this is what it would look like. And you'd have to like hold the up key and the down key to like look straight up and straight down, and like look to the corners. So aiming was a lot harder. I love having mouse look. That's one of the modernizing features that I definitely appreciate.
Like literally, man, I have a hard time playing any of these games anymore without mouse look. It's really bad.
Even Doom, where it would just like auto check. Well, that was the other thing in the original Dark Forces. You could just turn the height check on or off, so you would just auto aim at people that were like up above or down below. But yeah, I prefer to just point the crosshair at them and fire. It feels like, or even if it's just the illusion of control, I like having that extra. See, yeah, look at all those cracks in the walls. It's like, okay, well, which is the one you can blow open? Any of those? Probably none of them, but you're like looking for that one area that you can blow open. I guess the map kind of gives you a clue.
Oh fuck! I keep forgetting about the map. Button is the map again.
It's usually it's either tab or cap lock.
That's it. Thanks. You like saved me like a bunch of time because
And you can zoom in and out.
I'm going back to hardware. Me in here.
My GPU is a 32-bit processor.
Processor.
Computer.
Neural net processing. It doesn't tell you which one you blow up from here.
1997, the system becomes self-aware in panic, driving flag targets in Russia.
Okay, Gergen, you might have to help me a little bit. It's been a while. My last Dark Forces playthrough, I'm starting to get lost.
Looking at me. See, this is where you can't save it, but it's like you'd save it, you'd come back the next day, and boom, you just find it right away. Okay, go to your objective screen. I gotta see like which keys are you missing?
EDA.
Yeah,
Okay, we have to
your
restart
PDA.
the hydroelectric generator.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay, no, I remember. Never mind.
Yep.
It's that place in the river, right? Yeah.
Oh, console. There we go. Yeah, that turnstile thing.
So
Hit the switches.
it wouldn't be over here. I'd have to go.
Have you gone in the water yet?
No. Probably do that then, huh? There's like an opening to it, but I guess let's just go here. It'll be fine. We'll go digging. It's supposed to be right here. Okay.
Now, if this were Jedi Knight, then you'd suddenly start getting attacked by monsters in the water. It's like, oh, it's water, I'm safe. There's gonna be no day and no guess. Yep. To the right is your little. Let's see if you've gone that way before.
Yeah, I have gone this way before. I have to go this way.
You did say so before. Okay. All right, go
The
the way.
dam's over here, so I have to go. Yeah, is it back in here?
You don't have to swear at me.
Damn it! Yeah, there it is. Okay. Ah, another texture that they used for Shadows of the Empire.
I always liked the fact that in Jedi Knight it was like the alien hand.
Oh yeah, it was, huh?
Yeah.
I really love this song. This is such a great part of the soundtrack. For some reason, it just I don't know. It just slaps.
I mean, I love the John Williams soundtrack to the Star Wars trilogy, but this soundtrack is a close second.
Now we got electricity. Now we can open up doors.
No! Don't open the doors!
Surprise!
There we go. Oh, never even had a chance.
Oh,
No chance!
that's what you got. You're inviolable. Dead.
There's a lot of mods for Dark Forces as well. Like you can change what each of the enemies looks like, and you change the fist into a lightsaber. I mean, it's not a great lightsaber, but it's a lightsaber.
Yeah, that's right. You can make Kyle a Jedi before he was a Jedi.
Jedi. Dark Jedi. He has great plans for the rebirth of the Empire. Fortunately, you don't figure into them. Dark side. I've been there.
Darkseid.
Suddenly he's Batman.
I've been there. Do your worst.
Not interested in leaving. It's unfinished business.
Go ahead, Kyle. Looks like I found something that can help us
Wow,
out.
that's gonna be
Get
interesting.
back to the landing pad and I'll meet you there.
Will do.
Having so many flashbacks to other first-person shooters like Wolfenstein 3D. Yeah! Or Serious Sam, you're like, owned. You played Serious Sam, right?
No, I have not. I played maybe one
man.
level of Serious Sam. That was it for me.
That game was like when the demo was out from Crow Team. Man, we played the heck out of that, and then the final version came out. When you first get that weapon, well, all the weapons were great, but that first weapon where it's just a big like pirate cannon, and you hold it down, and then it fires the big cannonballs. That was so great. But yeah, what your character says when you pick it up. I mean, at the time, it was a cutting-edge game, but it was just a throwback to so many other like FPS tropes of the time. Just had a great time with it.
I'm walking around in circles. I'm gonna go this way. This way? Going
Yep.
This way?
Oh man, this is like every sleepover. This is like every time we rented games. Like you get to a certain point where you're just so tired, you're just like, where am I? It's like it's right there. It's right there. Jan, I was just jump.
Here's your favorite level.
Oh yes. I mean, I don't mind it so much now, but at the time, I was like,
Do I remember the first time we did the all games marathon? You were complaining all over the place about this.
Yes. So many flashbacks. I mean, I got lost. I got frustrated. I cheated to try to get past it. And I was just like, no, not happening. But like so many other things, time heals all wounds. So, you play, I can go back and play Super Mario Brothers, and I don't mind the cheapness and the annoying puzzles and things. It's like
It's really funny that I know a lot about this level, and I didn't know anything about the first or second level.
That's fun.
Like, I forgot. Oh shit, what's shooting at me? Oh fuck, it's Brug. What the
I mean, the atmosphere is cool. It's like dark and scary, stuff jumps out at you. But by this point, I was ready for it. But the previous map caught me off guard. I'm like, okay,
so I think
stormtroopers are going to sneak up on me and yell in my ear. It's scary.
I think the upscaler is probably going to ruin this one. Because those monsters that you see, like, they're all upscaled now, so...
You're going to see them coming.
But we'll see. Oh, never mind. They're still pretty terrifying.
There they
like,
are, yep.
You couldn't make them out. Like, you couldn't make them out very well in the original, but, like, you can now, so...
I'm definitely not going to make out with any of those creatures.
Oh,
no
no?
offense. Beauty is subjective.
But they got a big old mouth for you to stick your tongue in.
Hey, when the Dark Forces movie comes out and they want to get the new popcorn bucket, there's the model right there.
The Dark Forces popcorn bucket.
Daenoga popcorn bucket.
Yep. Ouch.
Well, you got the Sarlacc pit. You got everything. Everything you could possibly want.
The popcorn bucket.
If we had a RantCast somewhere, that would be a popcorn bucket.
Right.
I'm sure other people would have been ready.
Give you the official RantCast popcorn bucket.
Appropriate for all audience.
It's just a big hand that you put your popcorn in.
The hand just holds the popcorn.
Or other apparatus.
Oh no, I just got it. Sorry.
Yep.
So long.
You just put butter in the hand and then, makes your popcorn all nice and smooth.
Yes, that's
delicious.
Don't use it for anything else.
Yeah, don't use it for anything else, people.
Yep. You're not responsible for anything that could happen.
Uh-oh.
Felt like you were getting flushed down the toilet when this happened.
I am getting flushed down the sewers. Run! Run! Get back up!
Maybe this is Willy Wonka's chocolate river. Yeah. Just rapidly jumping to try to get back. I remember doing that so much. Like, no, because you turn the map on and you see yourself just getting thrown through all this. Turn the map on real quick. If you can, tab. Yep, you're just like, no, I'm getting thrown down here. Where are they taking me? To the great unknown. Ooh, at least some ammo. Yeah, in some games it'd be just, and then there'd be spikes, or then there'd be a fan that would chew you up. Rotor-Rooter, that's the name. This is not sponsored. Do it.
Oh, okay, there's nothing up here.
Dark Forces, ladies and gentlemen.
Indeed.
These things are so annoying. It's like, where's my lightsaber?
Oh.
Yeah, but I mean, there was nothing like this in Dune.
No, man. This is
Oh,
what
that
you got.
skybox.
This is what you had fun with. Yeah, that's it for me. I'm calling it. But
See, even you couldn't take it.
no,
This
it's 'cause
man.
it's getting late. It's getting late. I can do it if you really want me to, but
It's like, oh, I can do it.
the Hawk 290,
I
also
am
known
the
as the
cream of the crop.
Moldy
Rises to the
Crow.
top. It was pretty cool about letting people mod the hell out of Doom. They loved it. Yeah, they did. I'm not saying there was anything wrong with it. I'm just saying that the popular conception, I always heard that too. People would always say it. Oh, everybody knows that they hacked the Doom engine and made Dark Forces. It's like, not strictly true. I mean, they may have consulted it, but there's no Doom code in Dark Forces, and vice versa. There is a Star Wars Doom mod that was pretty fun. That's probably still out there on the internet somewhere, but it just is based on the movie, whereas Dark Forces is its own thing. And it's definitely a game worth playing through. There's a couple of puzzles that'll drive you bonkers, but if you can get over that, you can have yourself a great game. Showdown with a couple of Dark Troopers. Have a few jump scares from Stormtroopers and Daenogas.
You jump scares.
Jump scares. So your verdict on Dark Forces Remaster?
It's great. Buy it
Right.
or wait for it on sale if you don't want to pay $30. But I'd say for nightdive's work, I don't know. I said that's up to you because I said Lucius is doing a really good job modding it, but the difference between him and nightdive is you have to put some work into doing the modding for yourself. And he doesn't ask anything, which I think is pretty nice for all of his hard work.
Their menus are a little prettier than his. His are pretty basic. It looks just kind of like a web page.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's like for him, like his is more focused on the actual like fundamentals of the game. So I'll have to probably go back to when I was playing, the Force Engine, because I have a couple gameplays, like videos on YouTube. When I was playing the Force Engine, I think it was last year or the year before, and I got pretty far. I got past the first Dark Trooper, I think. You were watching it.
Yep.
So,
yeah, I played through the whole game. I think I looked up one of the codes, so I guess I cheated a little bit. Remember that really long code that you got to put in, where you gotta like raise and lower the walls or something and to line up perfectly, and it's like I was just scratching my head like I know I've done this, but I don't remember how to do it. So, but other than that, it was pretty much just like I tried to do it on my own, and pretty cool. I didn't get all the secrets. I got a lot of them though. It was a good trip down memory lane. It was worth it.
It is. So like I'd say like make your best judgment, because the Force Engine is available. You can do that if you want to put in the work.
Now Lucius is also doing Outlaws support next, but
Yeah.
I don't think he's released anything to that effect yet. So, and who knows when that'll be.
And also keep in mind, he puts time into his mods, which is good, but they also take a little while. This is here.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying like
Yeah.
abandon the wait for it, but like if you really want to play something that's there, it's got support, it's playable, it's not a fucking hot mess. Not saying his is a hot
Yeah.
mess. I'm saying like a game, a remaster that's not a fucking hot mess. This is here.
Yeah.
You know, it's for
Yeah.
you.
You're at either way,
So
you're at the mercy of their schedules. But I don't know. I figure they're going to support this for a while, but then, as inevitably happens with these, I mean, I don't know if they're calling this a budget title, but a lot of times they'll just say, well, this is just a nostalgic budget title. We're not going to support it very long.
no,
So
man, Nightdive
4 months down the
focuses on
line,
this stuff.
nothing.
Like they
Oh, they
don't
do.
do. Yeah. Have
So
you ever
fire
looked
and
at their
forget.
studio, buddy? Like they don't do anything
No.
else. Nightdive focuses
Oh
on
no.
remastering old games. Like hold on.
Oh, my bad. So they are.
So they did System
we're-
Shock. They did the System Shock remaster.
Oh, System Shock. Yeah.
If here, I'll even go into the menu. Like if you're looking at, they did this game. They did the System Shock remaster. They were the developer. Publisher was Prime Matter though. And then what else did they do? Did they do Turok? I know they did. Did they also do this one? Let me see. It's kind of weird because I'm kind of like looking at other stuff. No, yeah. So they were involved in the Doom 64 port over to PC. Like that's all they kind of do, man. Is they just do. I think they did the Turok ports too. Yeah, Iguana and Nightdive. So, like, Nightdive has a website. If you go check out their website, this is all they do, man. It's just older games. They don't have, and this isn't like a support thing. This isn't a live service. This is them, like, re-releasing the game, and that's it. Oops. Anyway, I'm gonna go click up, and like I lost complete control of my mouse. So we're not starting soon again, everybody. But yeah,
Look at you, hacker, a pathetic creature of meat and bone, panting and sweating as you run through my corridors. How can you challenge a perfect immortal machine?
wait, what?
System Shock 2 quote.
Oh, yeah.
That classic quote. You can just slip it in.
But yeah, so I think this was a fun game to play, and like I said, it's not a live service or anything. They released it and they're done. So unless there's anything they need to fix, then they're good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, so it can be done. You can take an old game, you can give it a nice refresh and put it out there.
This is a decent
And
coat of paint.
Screw it up pretty easily with Battlefront.
Well, in Battlefront, they didn't fucking do anything. Like, and that's what I'm saying is like, they want $35 just to re-release the game, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
in that
this
case,
is
I'm sure modders could teach them a thing or two.
This, I mean, people can mod. You can get a modded version of this and get similar to what the Dark Forces remaster is giving you, but at least there's work put into this. Nightdive put work into this.
Yeah,
Aspire
I
just
believe
ported Battlefront over, pretty much upscaled the textures and say, "Hey, $35, please." Nah, we're good, bro. It does. It's not worth it. Like that coat of paint ain't worth it, bro. That's like making me. It's like you spray painting my car. Like my old ass like 81 Honda, and like with a new coat of regular paint, not meant for the car.
Yeah.
Just spray painting it, and then having like the little paint blotches all over the windows and all over the rims because you didn't do the right work. Yeah, like, and then you just saying, and then you just say $300, please. Like, no, we're good.
Yeah. Oh, man.
So, there's nothing new about the car. There wasn't any installments put into it. You just repainted the car a really shitty coat of paint, and then you called it good. And that's what that was. Like I said, AI has its uses, but I in no way support the fact that you should generally rely on it as a program all the time. And there needs to be a human element in there.
Slap the label on it, and
And what? Did you forget it there, Jeff Goldblum?
Yeah, it's like I screw up the line, but it's like, and then you spend so much time, thinking about if you could, you never stop thinking if you should.
If you should, or if you did, or would have.
All
Hold on there, Jeff. You're having a stroke. You need to reset
right.
Goldblum.
Yeah, yeah, let's go to come out. I want to see like the behind the scenes where it's like he was stuttering and mumbling like way more, and they had to like keep scaling it back, less mumbling, less mumbling. Like, okay, finally, just the right amount of mumbling. Cut, print. Like, listen, I'm not doing that again. Like, okay, fine. That was the last take.
I want to save this screenshot.
Jurassic Park.
Some of these Dark Forces screenshots are nice. But yeah, so I don't know. I would suggest it. Just if you want to go back to a simpler time.
Back to the past to play the games that kicked ass.
Kicked glass.
The games that were
Oh,
great.
they have a skip level cheat. We can go through all the levels.
LAIM lame.
No, it's le skip.
Let's skip it. So the French.
They're really easy. And they have a cheat code menu in there now. It's so nice.
You don't have to type it.
But
LA
no.
Postal.
Well, I'll probably go over that here in a minute when we're off the podcast. But that's it for me. So that's it. Maybe we can
Yeah.
call it tonight. I have to get
Yeah.
the baby
I'm
anyway. So
too tired to do a OrcQuest unboxing, but
oof.
one of these times. Yeah, I've had a long day. Now, to be fair, I haven't had any kind of stomach bug, so knock on wood there. But
It's okay.
yeah, thanks everybody for joining us on the RantCast.
Yeah, thank you everybody. And if you were listening, sorry that you couldn't see any of that gameplay. But it will be available on the VOD and through YouTube. So you can come check us out again. It's the RantCast podcast. My name is Josh. I'm also known as the Strange Bus. You can catch me at twitch.tv/the Strange Bus. I stream from time to time now with my busy schedule. You can also catch Kurgan, also known as HeroQuest Fans. That's twitch.tv/HeroQuest Fans. That is twitch.tv/HeroQuest Fans for all your HeroQuest and other related HeroQuest needs.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it for us tonight. Thank you all so much for listening, watching, doing the things that you do because it helps us keep going. You guys are awesome. And we'll catch you guys on the next Rantcast. Have a good night, everybody. Take care.
Yep, we're going to do a raid.
We can do a raid. Give me 1 second.